All right then. Let's do an introduction. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. As part of our chatting with dealers, we've got Chris and Sven in today. You're Anteriors, formerly Nick Snacks.
Formerly Nick Snacks.
And you're Hunt and Gatherer.
That's me, Hunt and Gather.
Yeah, Hunt and Gather, yeah, sorry. So I've done work for both of you in the past. That's how we sort of got the relationship we have where we know each other. And as part of this, we're sort of, it's very much about chatting with the people that we work with. And that's how it's going to be sort of moving forward. I mean, you two know each other from before the antiques days, don't you?
Yeah, we've known each other, what, 15 years?
Seems a lot longer than that.
So how old are you both?
43 I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old are you?
Hard life. 34.
So you're from the same town?
No.
Well, I'm from Runcorn originally.
Yeah.
Moved to Warrington. Met Sven at work. And we worked together for 15.
Yeah.
Where was work?
We have a company, an engineering firm in Warrington.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you both got involved in antiques. How did that happen then?
Well, I started dealing, well, I call it dealing, buying and selling bits and pieces, just to make a bit of extra money, really.
Yeah.
Mostly, it was just house clearance, rubbish. I had a L200 pickup and a horse box.
Oh yeah?
So, as you can imagine, if you picture it, driving around Warrington, picking up any old furniture.
I've got a great photo of that pickup, you know. Like with a big ratchet strap over the top, like the Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh yeah, it's had some gear on the back of that, but it was a sight to behold.
Yeah.
And then kind of progressed on to going to auctions and buying bits. And then an auction house opened across from where we worked, and then it escalated a bit more. And they had some good bins at the back, didn't they? Used to get stuff out of the bins and sell that. And you kind of gone from there. Well, you can't drive past the skip. Well, I can't drive past the skip.
Without having a look.
Yeah.
Well, things naturally escalate, don't they? So you start at a bin at a crap auction, now you get to better
Bins
auctions.
in the posh auctions.
Yeah. That's it.
And is that roughly how you got started as well?
Oh, sorry.
Don't worry. So
yeah, probably not really similar actually. So like Chris was doing it before I did, sort of buying in and selling stock, and I sort of and Steve's probably my way into it, sort of going with him or going to the auction. Then it sort of was like I simultaneously bought a house, my first house, and I was wanting to fill it full of cool stuff, and that sort of got me into the furniture side of it a bit, I suppose. But then it just got a bit out of hand, and then ended up with a container, then two, then a little shop, and then a warehouse.
So is that where you trade from a warehouse now?
Yeah.
And you trade from
it's a farm building.
Farm,
yeah, but I've done it all out, especially over lockdown. Done a lot of work to it, so it's looking.
Well, I saw the videos and it looks brilliant.
But nobody comes anymore. It's appointment only, so it's a bit awkward at the moment with all the. I
mean, we're the same. We've got our shop, but there's no need for a shop anymore, I don't think.
Yeah.
Instagram does everything for you.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I've not. I've seen we open proper hours, but then from the lockdown we sort of organically now have morphed into where we would have headed anyway.
Yeah.
Just dealing primarily on the internet.
Yeah.
I suppose as well, we've both got young families, and from my perspective, sort of the beginning of the lockdown last year, I was sort of sat in the garden watching my children play in the paddling pool and sort of looked at my watch and thought, I'd be sat in the shop now praying someone walks through the door.
Yeah.
Like, what have I been doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, same for me. Because we used to just open on a Sunday. And when the sun was shining in the summer and you can hear the kids playing in the garden and you're sat in this dark shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bit grim, but...
Having someone knock you down £2 on a pair of brass candlesticks.
Yeah.
Well, I hit them with them instead.
Cluedo their arse.
Because that video you did a little while ago was brilliant with your daughter.
Oh yeah, it's great when you get involved.
Jordan thing. Yeah. That was just a cracking video. You should watch that on Instagram. that was brilliant. Everybody I spoke to was just like, did you see that video? They were loving that.
Do you guys involved in it? Did they get into it?
Well, they want to help, but it's very rare that they're actually a help.
Yeah.
But it's good that they're interested. My lad's interested in it, and he's done a few stalls now.
Oh yeah, I've seen him at the fairs trading. Yeah,
and that's great.
What's he, about 12 years?
He's 10. And he enjoys it. But you can make a little bit of money. It seems like a lot, doesn't it, when you're young? And it's great that he's interested and he's making.
Is it like the buying and selling of it?
Yeah.
It's a bug though, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, mine aren't remotely bothered. Ida is the youngest one, but I try and keep her out of the warehouse altogether because she's like a bull in a china shop. But she's like inquisitive. I think I was like that as a child. Sort of, why is that shape? Why is that colour? And I used to go to like emporiums with my grandmother. Yeah. And it was boxes. It was always boxes because a box at some point had to have served a purpose. Yeah. It had something in it. What was the content? Why was it like this, or why was it like petitioned that way, or? And I suppose that if that's already in you, isn't it? Yeah. Then and then it sort of fell. You can see it now as I'm like sort of going on with my day-to-day business. That sort of thought process goes into it a lot. I like that. I don't know why, but it's worn on this corner. It's this colour or this shape, and you think, well.
Yeah, and I think I've talked about this before, once you get an eye for something, once you get involved in a trade fair, you start to recognise what's really nice. Even if it's not your area that you deal in, you can recognise something when it's really good. Yeah. Then you just can't help but go looking for it.
But sometimes, and we've talked about this, like I'll see something and I need it, but I couldn't tell you why. Yeah. I couldn't be like, it's not because I know it's valuable or because I know it'll sell particularly quickly. It's something in that resonates with me, and I don't know what it is or why it is. I just have to own it. Yeah. Like a 4.5 foot leather elephant that I've got. Like the guy who bought that off, honestly, I was like, went into his shop and he was talking to me, and I had to stop him like mid-sentence. Like, listen, just so I can relax. How much is that elephant? I just need it. I don't know why I need it. I just need to put my daughter on it and trot it around the shop. I just need a massive elephant.
Everyone needs it.
Yeah, that's it.
So have you what's the worst thing you've bought in terms of impulse buy and thought, oh, what have I done?
There's too many. It floods, like social media, you like going back to it and you scroll through, and something like now I look through it now and I think, mate, what was I thinking?
Hangover buys. If I wake up on a Saturday after a heavy night, and sometimes I bought stuff off Facebook.
I had a guy who bought something to Cheshire Fair and was like, here you go, mate. I was like, what's that? He went, you bought it off me on Instagram. He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, what do we owe you? Oh, you paid for it there and then. I thought, fucking hell. What else have I bought? And it's just dotted around the country, and I've been sat in the garden on the barbecue, like, oh, that's all right.
What about you?
I don't know, really. Mistakes-wise, there's hundreds of mistakes. Yeah. I bought a butcher's block recently that a dealer, he kind of told me it was great, and it was dark. First thing in the morning, you run around the fair trying to get a bargain. Convinced me there was no worm, no rot, so I bought it on face value, got it home, jet washed it, hole straight through. So it's constantly making
That's
mistakes.
A good point, that as well, because like through the lockdown, I've not been able to do what I ordinarily do. So ordinarily I'd be going to 3 or 4 different places a day. I'll spend days going hitting shops or warehouses or auctions or whatever. But I couldn't do that. So I was like buying a lot of gear totally blind. So and you're basing your trust on a total stranger. Yeah. So some people are straight up. Like I would like to think so. Like a lot of people I deal with, I know I wouldn't have to ask them the conditions. But I've had some things turn up. And you put it down, the legs fell off, and you sat on it, the upholstery's gone straight through, and you just think, hey, what would it?
It's sort of fair game in the trade, though, isn't it? With some dealers, especially, it's like, if you're not going to come and look at it.
I'd never do that to someone.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly,
you
but
pull my pants down once, but I'll never buy off you again. Once you ask me once, that's it. So I don't get that, because you want repeat customers, don't you? No.
I have the hidden jeopardy. If I buy something that isn't good, I've got Ali to answer to. Yeah. And some of the things I've bought, I think the last one was a big heavy hotel sign for the 70 degrees. It was like an iconic hotel on the headland of Old Colwyn. It was pure nostalgia buy. Yeah. Next thing I'm like, oh no, what have I bought that for?
I bought a lot of stonework off like Facebook Marketplace. I messaged the woman and was like, is it accessible, this? And she was like, oh yeah, it's just in the garden. I was like, oh, great stuff. I'll bring my trolley with me. And I got there, it was absolutely bouncing down. And the garden was like 3 miles long and like went up about 30 metres in an incline. And it was the slipperiest thing on earth. And I ended up, there was like stone trough, like granite troughs. I couldn't move them. I couldn't get them on the trolley. And I ended up like almost like sliding them down this hill. And I was like slipping round. I had to get the kids from school at 3 o'clock. And I was like, absolutely, you can imagine, like caked in mud, wrecked all the gear I was wearing.
It's the real dealer experience though, isn't it?
That isn't what I envisaged that. I was thinking I was going to be trotting around with a cravat on, not slipping around a bloody garden in Bury, kicking the kids. The kids were like ashamed of me when they got there, like in the queue for the line.
Mercedes estate.
Yeah.
And then what have you bought that is an absolute keeper you'll never sell?
Oh, I don't know. There's loads of things there again that Well, one of my first purchases, I bought an Eames lounge chair from the local tip for £5.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I went in. It was before I was doing any sort of dealing, and I just spotted it and thought, that's cool. Never seen one before. Bought it, took it home, had it for about 6 months, gave it to a friend of mine, and then I was walking through Liverpool City Centre, saw one in a shop window with a footstool, went in, asked how much the footstool was, and I think it was 1,500 quid, and I was like, holy, didn't realise it was a thing.
Yeah.
So I went straight back to my mate's house, got the chair back.
Yeah, quick.
And then I sold it on. Yeah. That was a good buy. But yeah, I'm constantly buying things that I put in the house. You know, that's one of the benefits of the game. I think that you get to own these things for a little bit and then sell it on. Yeah. You get to enjoy it.
Yeah.
See, I've had to like train myself because when I was working a proper job simultaneously, you're not, the financial part of it isn't so much in your mind because it doesn't matter if it sells or not.
No.
So that thought process was always there. So it was like, if it was good, I was keeping it.
Yeah.
And then when I quit my job 2 years ago, then all of a sudden I can't afford to keep it. So then I've had to really like train myself to sort of let things go. However, I do keep things a bit longer than I need to, so that I feel like quench that thirst of owning it.
Yeah.
So I did it with a mirror recently. In fact, it was on about that on the way up here, weren't we? So I had this mirror, best mirror I've ever seen, and it's got the best crackled mercury glaze I've ever seen. And I must have had that mirror 6 to 8 months before I let anyone know I had it. I just walked past it every day. I just enjoyed it. I just wanted it. And there's nowhere for it to go. I live in a 30s, 70.
Yeah, I mean,
like
that's the thing. When you, like I say, when you search these things all your life, every so often you spot something that's so exceptional, and you can just look at it forever.
You'll never see one again. And
No.
that mirror is beautiful because it was in an environment, a very particular environment for a very long period of time.
Yeah.
And only that environment would have created that look to that mirror.
Yeah.
But then I put it on Instagram, it sold in less than 3 minutes, and I was devastated. I wish I'd not. And
Then you wonder, when it sells that quick, you wonder if you sold it too cheap.
I didn't sell it too cheap, but it's just one of the things. I did it with the cricket table. I had a cricket table, it was the best cricket table I've ever seen. It had a solid sycamore top, and it was just superb. And I ate my lunch off it for like 6 months before I let anyone know I had it. Because I just didn't, I tried it in the kitchen, I tried it in the living room. My wife was like, you just sell the table. I was like, so you have any butties off it in the warehouse?
I've got no antiques at home, none at all.
Yeah.
Wife doesn't like them. Yeah.
Like that beautiful cricket table. Can't have my daughter PVA and bits of paper mache, on a
Too precious about
1,200 quid table, can you?
No.
Yeah, I was like that. I bought a wainscot chair and it had my son's initials carved in the top. And I put it in the house and I came home and he had his toy cars on it going like that. So I had to just, they were in the shed for 2 years and just sat in the shed. But yeah, he's back in the house now. Now he's a bit older.
He knows.
Yeah, but I've got this like unbelievable barrel back chair in the living room and it's like olive green, it's superb. And then I was in the house for about 15 minutes and now the boxer that I've got, dog, just sort of like wiped his jolly chops straight over the top of it. And I was like, it survived like 150 years without someone staying it, and these 30 seconds it's been in this bloody house. But then,
So then you two do a lot of the fairs, don't you? Everywhere. Every fair I go to, you're there, and then everyone I see on Instagram, you're at those as well.
Guess where I wouldn't this one?
I could go buying a lot.
Yeah.
But it's only this year probably that I've started stalling out at the fairs. You started before me, didn't you?
Yeah, I was using it really as an outlet to get rid of surplus stock, really, because I found it, like I tried with my actual stock, I can't get what I want for it at first.
No.
You've got to trade it, and I understand that, I get that.
Yeah.
But a couple like Henley that we did recently, that's a different.
What, I mean, I looked at Henley, and I was saying to this before we switched the camera on, it looked to me like more of a showcase of who you are and your style than an actual fair to go and sell to, because every photo I saw, I just didn't see many people there. Lots of stall holders, but I mean, is that just the photos I saw? Was it busy with buyers?
It was strange for me because I've not been to a fair like that before, and it was very laid back, and there wasn't that hustle and bustle and rushing around because it was over 5 days as well.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I put a lot of effort into it, and I didn't do very well out of it. But like you say, maybe it's more of a showcase, and that's what I was basing it on, really.
Well, if you come away and interior designers have got your cards on everything, that's what we need.
Yeah, and I've had, like, the fair that I did last year, I made more money out of people that I've met in months after it.
Yeah.
Through repeat customers or people that were looking for particular things. Or,
Yeah.
And that was like some of the fairs that we do sort of in the north. There isn't the clientele isn't there because most of the retailers and all the people that got hotel and restaurant chains all frequent the south. So it's like I'd not met people like that. They probably might come up. It might have just been coincidental, but certainly last year I made a lot of contacts, and even now people buy off me on a monthly basis.
Yeah, that's good.
But I think like the fairs altogether are a very hit and miss thing because it can be environmental. It can be where you was positioned wasn't favourable to where other people were. Like where I was, for instance, I was in a huge bottleneck right near the entrance. So that really favoured me because it was really heavily populated.
Newark's still my favourite in terms of hunting ground and finding stuff.
But it is a community, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah.
I'm really thankful for like people helping them out.
Yeah.
But it just goes through the way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For us.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that's the thing that we're doing with these chats. I'm determined to get everybody in because everybody's got a different take on the trade.
Yeah, yeah.
And everyone's got that sort of style that they shop for and that they sell, and and then there's some right loose cannons in the trade, isn't there?
Stay like.
Yeah, some of the people I can't wait to hear their stories.
There is some proper characters.
Oh yeah.
I like that though. I like people like that.
Oh, I think it's the maddest trade for it. You do get a certain breed of person that wants to get involved in it.
It's funny how everyone's got a story about someone else as well.
Yeah.
I mean, North Wales for me, when it comes to North Wales, it seems like you go from place to place and everyone will tell you different stories about a different person.
Yeah.
Where have you been? I've been to see blah blah. I'm like, well, tell you what, I was at can't do it with blah blah. I'm like thinking, right, you're really like catty, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because we had a classic. I won't name the dealer until they've come in, and I'll ask them on the day. But we'd bought something from Saxon down from Essex. He'd come here filming, bought something off him. We then sold it to the dealer on Anglesey, who then ended up selling it to a dealer who's got a shop right next, as close to us as we can have down on Ivy Street there, and had come back and then phoned me and said, "Do you want to buy this off me?" Yeah. And the story came back that it was from Ralph Lauren's mansion in Sussex. I'm like, it really wasn't.
I've had that before, where I've sold stuff to someone, and then you've seen it, like everyone has a look, don't they? And you looked, and there's like this huge, elaborate, sort of like, oh, it's Charles I, and it came, it was Hamilton.
The story gets bigger and bigger.
That out of a bit of it.
But yeah, this was a shop display that had been put together, but the story had got bigger and bigger before it came back to us again. It's
like Chinese whispers, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's the funny thing about the trade. It's like 99% of the time it's all very friendly, but the bitchiness is almost part of it. It's so funny, the stuff you hear, and
we was on about that, wasn't we, on the way up here? Like a few of the dealers that you go to, no matter what you tell them, there's always one better, or you've just missed a Fabergé egg for a fiver, and I'm like,
yeah, brilliant,
every time. But then it's sort of, I don't know. I like that. I've always liked that.
Yeah. It's never dull.
No.
Never dull. And I guess the hunt now is just, you sort of spread that web, don't you, mainly online, and just wait for those people to stick something up and try and get there first.
Yeah.
So getting first thing is a bit like, I think web buying now is sorry.
It's like a full-time job, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just sit there on your phone all day long and trade.
What? Andy Jones.
Speaking of which.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Like, I like my wife goes mad because it looks like I'm just mooching through Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm buying stock.
Yeah.
And it's all the time.
It's work.
I buy a lot. Do you buy offline?
A bit, but I like getting out there more. I don't.
Yeah.
Like you say, I don't want to be sat on the phone all the time, even though I am. Nick will probably watching this thinking, you're always on it, but I prefer to go out and look for stuff.
But then, like, I bet, so for me, the things that I've made the largest margins on, and the stuff that I fell on most with, because I've been physically in the room.
Yeah.
Because it is that digging around, and it is a thrill, isn't it? It's like that childish treasure hunt, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you see the corner of something, you go, and stop.
And especially if it's a cash deal going on, there's always a lot more room than dealing online. I think people are just like, oh no, other people want it, I'll wait. Whereas if you stood there on the spot,
thing as well, isn't it? Like create a relationship with somebody, you buy from over and over and slowly become friends, don't you?
Yeah.
I think as you get into more and more places and you're meeting new people and everyone puts you on to someone else, some of the places that you get to, before I wouldn't have known that they existed. I remember buying something on eBay, and it was back when I was just doing house clearing stuff, and the guy said, "Do you buy antiques?" And I said,
I know you're on about.
And he said, "I'll take you to my uncle's place, he's got a place just round the corner." And we went to this big warehouse in Manchester, it was trade only. Is it called Manchester Antiques?
Yeah, Wayne Long.
And I don't think it was him, I think it was someone else that I met, And I walked through the door and I'd never seen anything like it. It was just a massive warehouse rammed with top quality antiques, real good stuff.
I did it with something as well, similar.
Yeah, I'm getting goosebumps now because that's what got me when I walked in and I said to him, "Oh, how much is this clock over here? Massive, big, long case clock. Never seen anything like it." And he said 25,000. I said, "Yeah, I'm wasting your time here, mate." But he was dead nice, and he said, "No, I know you might not be able to buy that, but have a look round." And he also said, as you make new contacts, if you're looking for things that are specific, let us know, and we'll probably have one in, and you can put a bit on. And it was great to meet him and to be welcomed, into this world of, £1 million.
Even though he was high end,
Yeah, incidentally, he did the exact same thing with me. I bought a chair, I think it was through Facebook Marketplace. I thought it was expensive for me, but it wasn't. And he did the same thing with me. And it was like, he had this huge sort of, I don't know, circular table, and it was like, could totally brass inlay at the top of it. It was amazing. And I asked the price, that was like £47,000. I nearly choked on me.
I think after I got out of that warehouse, I think I phoned you straight away and said, "Guess where I've just been?"
And I rang you, and it was like, I think I've just ended up where you ended up by accident. But again, he was like, normal bloke, really nice chap, give me the time of day, just teaching me about stuff, and similarly was like, give me a business card, and was like, anything in the future, and that's good business, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's something I never envisaged really, like as I left my engineering role and went into, antiques. I always envisaged people looking down the nose at me a bit more than they did. But there's a lot of people that really like took me under the wing. Yeah. And I never even seen that coming, and they like have helped me enormously, or sort of taught me things or ways around things, or and I really appreciate it. I didn't see that coming whatsoever. I thought that they would be like new kid on the block, younger lad, in comparison. And they would just sort of poo-poo me, but it's not been like that. So there's been a few, but a lot of them, especially the older dealers like that Wayne Long, he's not daft. He understands that he might be at the bottom of the pile now, but you're not gonna. Maybe one day you won't be. And like, want a £47,000 table, or I might have a customer.
Oh yeah. And you don't want to come away from it. I think I'm not going to bother with him again.
Yeah, that's.
Whereas he's yeah. Great. Well, I think we've chatted for a hell of a long time, haven't we? Let me just check if that camera's still on. We're still on. Right then. We could talk all day, couldn't we?
Yeah. And we're going to get back in the van now and carry on.
Yeah. Is that where you're going now? Buying?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Can't tell you that, I'm afraid.
It's rare that we actually go out together now, isn't it? We used to a bit at the start, but I think as we've gone our separate ways a bit.
Well, you've both built your businesses up. It's like you've.
But that's one of the things that was good that we was doing it, together at the start, is that I'd get something. First person I'd tell is Sven.
Yeah.
And Sven would get something, he'd send it to me, and I'm like, that's rubbish.
Yeah.
And that meant I really want it.
There's this joke. It's like, if I got something and it's absolutely mega, shit, got loads. That's all I got back. Shit, I've got loads of them.
That's when you know you've got something good, and he's jealous.
And I'm like, oh, why have you got that and I've not?
Well, I think that's probably spurred us on a bit as well, hasn't it? Like the competition between
Absolutely. It's a healthy thing, that. When we went to Holland, it's like, it started off like, turning up to places, and after a bit, it was like screeching up in the van. But if the doors were open, he was like pushing me out the way, like sprinting to the places. Coming out, and he's like, I found that. I'd be like, ah! His class that. It wasn't a profitable trip though, was it?
No, it was fun though, wasn't it?
Still got all them medicine balls.
Medicine balls.
Yeah, we were talking about that on the way here, actually. We went to Holland for a bit of a road trip buying. And it's the first time we'd been. Didn't really know what we were doing. We thought we were big time, weren't we? We probably had a couple of grand each, and we thought we'd made it. And we're going into all these places buying this stuff, and we were buying stuff that we'd seen online that we're thinking, everybody wants. And the majority of the stuff.
Tips, yeah. Like, I just thought that we were going to fill the van with what everyone's got on Instagram.
Yeah. And we ended up sitting on it. I've still got some of the stuff.
Well, you got to learn.
I wouldn't change it. It was ace, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was worth it just for the experience, wasn't it?
Dealing.
All I can remember is that woman. And he was like, have one of these balls. I don't want one. Have one. Listen, love, I don't want one. I don't want one. And she's like, fed you one on a napkin.
Yeah, we ended up, it was like a Eurovision party. God knows how we ended up there.
Cheering on Israel.
Yeah, maybe we should stop these stories now. Before you get cut.
What was in them balls? I don't want to pull out of a ball.
That's the last thing you remembered.
Yeah. Just a woman's balls.
Right then. We'll stop there then.
Yeah, probably back.
I think we need to do a part 2.
Yeah, happy for that.
Right. Thanks very much for coming in. I hope everyone enjoyed watching it. As I say, we've just sort of rambled on for I don't know how long. Might even be half an hour for all I know. So I'm not sure how much of that we can cut out, but we'll try. Happy hunting today.
Cheers.
And until next time, bye. Do you want this? Do you want this one?
Yeah, that's what we did.
There you go.
Gracias.
I'll just stretch out. It's my old kitchen. That's all right. That. How can you not love this?